to test that because I'm not in a position yet.
Oh, you're talking about from the low we just made. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of something else.
I'd quite like to go and test that.
Max, how many alerts did you have when you woke up?
Mate, do you know what? I actually slept with my computer on, but I was hella tired, so I just
bet.
slept.
All I can think about, like, my alerts were going off the chain. I was just standing in the kitchen, and all of a sudden I'm seeing 44, 45, 39.9. I was like, oh shit, we're going for it.
You know them PVA candles?
Yeah.
I get an alert for every single 15-minute one, every single hour one, every single 5-minute one.
Oh, wow.
Alert for every single one of them. Yeah,
that seems excessive.
Yeah, you have to be getting alerts like literally every level, man. Like, how does that even help you? Oh, there's another one.
That's another PVA candle, because it just tells me, like, okay, something's happening. Like, this is when you need to look at the chart, because otherwise, I literally can be reading, I can be watching TV, YouTube. It doesn't matter. Like, I literally only look at the charts when there's them PVA candles.
All right, we're live.
It's annoying during the night, trust me, but during the day, I find it very, very useful. Because, like, if I look at the 5-minute chart now, there's been the past 10 candles have been, pointless to look at. But right now, we've just had a PVA candle. It looks like we're going to break through the daily open. You know what I mean? So, for me, I find them very useful. It just alerts you that, something's happening.
I just don't, like, every tick you're getting an alert. Like, oh, Bitcoin just moved.
Oh, Bitcoin just moved 10
44.51. All right. Let's see here. Posting a couple of links here. T-Bone, YouTube is coming. The YT.
It's already popping it in the members chat.
Yeah, I'm throwing it on here. Okay. Got those going.
And rivalries first. I wonder if it's rivalry or rivalry.
That's a good question.
I don't know. That's my dog right there. Welcome to the crew. Twin. All right.
I do always love the people that comment first when they're like, definitely not first.
It's like 20 people in. Oh, man.
I don't think you can actually be first unless you say you're first, though.
I think sometimes there is always like a little bit of lag on it, on the messages. So you're first in your own book. There you go.
Oh, man. All right, 2 seconds in, we're in there. So welcome, everybody. We're just going to let a couple more people straggle in. We're on here on TikTok and on YT. For anybody that wants to see the whole screen a little bit more clear. Or you can just chill, in bed, flicking through TikTok and listen to 3 dudes talk about some numbers. Max, our order flow and open interest specialist, and Magic Internet Money, myself, we're about to just kind of go over the last week of price action since our last update. We do these public updates on every Thursday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. We come to you live tonight at 9:51, right on time. And what a day it has been.
Debate crypto, show them pretty faces. I'll probably start showing it here soon. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I just got to get a couple more things for the studio and the house done. And
we got to get a couple hats. We're getting up there in age and we're starting to get bald spots. So,
well, I'm not worried about the bald, man. Bald is beautiful. But I ordered like a leading crypto like backdrop, so that's what goes on my wall.
No, you haven't, Magic.
Yeah, it was like 60. So cool. Honestly, it was only like $60. It was pretty cheap. So I was like, dude, why wouldn't you do that? So hopefully when it gets here, if the quality's good, obviously I'll hang it. If it's shit, I'm not going to. I
need some of the leading crypto merch. I'll need a hat for if we're putting videos on and it's this early in the morning. I definitely need a hat.
Dude, what am I supposed to do? Send you a hat to Dubai? I'll send you the design, and you can go to the nearest Walmart and get it printed.
Yeah.
I know cabin crew that you could send it to the hotels when they travel to America.
Okay. I'll travel out there. I'll bring it to you.
Just make sure that you get him one of those flat build ones. That's what he likes. He likes the super flat brim, But yeah,
I'll wear a baseball cap on.
Oh man! Oh my God! Bitcoin just went up $1.
It's broke through the daily open, guys. Cut me some slack. And yes, Matt, I did wake up to 1 million alerts going off.
1 million alerts. I can only imagine that spiked down. All right, let's kick it off, boys. Let's keep up our traditional fashion if it's okay. Magic, are you good to just kind of start off with Bitcoin and then we'll walk into some altcoins and then we'll kind of top it off with or we could start off actually with order flow if we'd rather do that. What do you guys feel like?
I can run through Bitcoin in about 10 minutes if you want to do that, and then we'll have him go into order flow after, because that way it ties together. Okay. And then we'll jump into alts, because that way Bitcoin's all stuck in one spot and
that's perfect.
Easy to kind of digest. So
I'll grab a bottle of wine and wait my turn for an hour or so.
There you go. That shouldn't take an hour. This
I'm
really
just kidding. No, let's let it last, man. Like we got all night.
That's true. Let me get my screen shared here and.
Yep. Where you at?
Bueno. All right, yeah, Bitcoin on the daily. Very simple on the move down here. Obviously, you've had a little range. You've fallen kind of through where we are now. So just to kind of recap for anyone that hasn't been, either watching our content or is new to it, you had a nice range here. Okay, so you can see you're ranging. You've come up, you've tapped a really key level. Very simply put, it was 47,707. That was the level we were looking for. I think it went to 48,207, but there were no closures above it on a daily time frame or a material time frame. Plus, when you got up there, it was just not a lot of people really, as far as no real buying interest, just people getting trapped up there essentially. So not ideal. Once you come back into the range, we're looking for the point of control. We've tapped it. We did not cycle the range right here. So there was a lot of people looking for like an arbitrary trend line in this region. They're drawing it like this or however it was being drawn. They were saying this is the bounce zone. It's a bear flag, whatever it may be. What we know is that we haven't rotated the range in full and that the overall golden pocket's beneath us. So really simply put, you're just kind of being patient and waiting for this to play out, right? So you can see we've dipped below and crossed into this. Your monthly point of control was beneath you. That was still untapped. It had front ran it just a little bit from March. That was kind of your cue to know that we were going to be potentially getting the move lower into this area. And then if you look, you actually had a really nice monthly level that was coming in there at 38,467. And then anything below that, and you're looking down to 38K and 37.7. So the context for this last week's update, if you've watched any of my content, we were looking for this move. I said, you can go long here, but your stop loss has to go below this low essentially, because the chances of it coming down and actually getting into this area are pretty good. And once it does, we're looking for a range reclaim. It was just like a really local range, very easy to spot. Once we got back in it, the short squeeze was on. Max was doing a little bit of LRA, locked range analysis, and he'd said basically 40,500. So on my chart, I just use the weekly pivot for that, 40,412. Get back above this level, and essentially the squeeze is on. We're looking for 41,274 as the Q4 low. Also, your TPO value area low from all of 2021, according to ATAS. So they're kind of interchangeable, however you want to take a look at it. Right here at 41.3, we'll just use that one because it's readily available. You can see it then served as support before pushing up into our next high time frame resistance, which was a quarterly key level here at 42,206. And so these were the levels we were looking for. We've tweeted about it. It's in the group. We got this pullback, and one of the scenarios that we had talked about, and I put that group video out. So if you're in this chat and you're not in our group, I did put out just Discord as a whole, so you don't have to be in any premium services. It was in the public chat. I put out a video showing that what we were looking for is if we came up above these levels here at the Q2 especially. So let's get rid of these fibs for just a second. And then gave this area back up, specifically all the way down to 41.3, that we would probably come back into this range and look to cycle, right? So from there, what are we looking to accomplish is we have to start getting away from a time-based setting as far as range goes and look for one, key levels of like horizontal support, and then two, range lows. And so that was pretty easily identified right here. You can see you're coming into the range low already. And we do have our high time frame key average as well from 24 months here at 39,722. Also the weekly open. Those were actually given in advance. I mean, these were levels that were talked about, and 40,412 still remains fairly important, as it is not only the POC of the range, but it's also your statistical average from the last week or so of price action. So this is going to be a pretty important area to flip to support. and then you look to take it back to the range high. If you get back to the range high here, you've washed out quite a few people more than likely. I haven't actually looked at the order flow. I've taken the last few hours off after the move. I did fill some positions and then just kind of walked away from the computer, let it do its thing. So happy to see things going well as of right now. And we'll start locking in profits at resistance and seeing what kind of trade we can actually get underway. But yeah, I mean, you get back above 41.3 and above the range again. I mean, you really are looking at this as an overall structure. So what I mean by that is you got to zoom out of the hourly, obviously, in this case, because we've got this kind of segmented quite a bit. But once you zoom out and you take a look at the overall structure here, you can see that if we are above this little box here, and it's kind of a wide box, but most important is going to be that 41,274 area. You get back and you live inside of this, you can see that we'll go to a daily. I think that's the easiest way to do this and clean it up. Anytime that you're above this level and you're actually holding it as support, right, you do end up back at the high of the range. So it is very important for Bitcoin to be living back above this level, both from a range rotation perspective and from a market structure perspective, because you need to kick that off as a higher low right here coming in. So this would still be a higher low, uptrend still intact. Getting above these levels would help confirm that as support, confirm this old range now as support, and get you that move back up to the high of the range that you'd be looking for. As always, in terms of overall macro, you guys know that I'm pretty conservative. I do believe in things like lengthening cycle. Fib time does support length cycle, but 47,707, which I think somehow I got Paul's pivot number on here. I think yours is always a little different than mine, but it is 47,707. That is the level that we're looking for to reclaim. If you get back above this, things do look quite a bit more bullish. And then 52,217 is on my radar at that point. That'd be where I'm looking to initially. There are some, pit stops in the way. I think it's 49,000 and some change from December, if I recall, that you would be looking for right here, 49,039. After that, you're really looking up to between 51 and 52K. I lean more towards that 52K level, and off you go. But that's all really well and far away. You just got to trade what's in front of you right now. So if we start giving up support here, giving up this 39,722 level, that key level there, odds of us actually cycling back down to this $38,000 region are pretty high, in my opinion. So that's kind of your, invalidation if you're looking for a trade. You really got to be holding the low of this range, because as we said when we started to dissect this region of the chart, you can see that's also your value area low. It happens to line up just coincidentally with one of probably the most high time frame level on this chart, which is 39,722. We identified it on this drop here, and you can see it's also been just absolutely well respected. Holding on to it, not closing beneath it. Need to hang on to this level. You lose it, you will go to the value area low, which is $38,000. Anything under 37.7, which is just a key horizontal level, and things do take a little bit more of a turn, and you do get to start talking about those downside targets, which are always there. But again, this is a range until it isn't, in my opinion. So that's what we're looking at, is just playing the range until we get a decision from either side of the market. While we have higher lows like this in place, I'll play either one. Like I took shorts up here almost from the exact high today. I did take them a little prematurely on profit, but I was patient enough to wait for this dip to get in down here. So it's been a fun, fast-paced range to really trade. Very, very simple. As long as you're organized and you keep a plan in place, knowing, if you get above 41.3, where are you going? 42.2, need to be holding 41.3. You can challenge back into these, local highs here of your local resistance. And if we can do that again, then that would be quite the move from here still. So we still have some work to do. But if that move does transpire, this 42.2 level is pretty material. The reason it's material is because it does get you entryway into a previous range. And this previous range is going to be giving you a very nice target. Okay, so if we get back into that range and we can find acceptance, secondary test into this range, holding this level as support, you do have another $1,300 up to a naked point of control there that you could look to then take advantage of as far as profit taking, or just use it as a target for your long, however you want to look at it. That's really it. I mean, in a nutshell. It's just been a battle of ranges. It's just ranges within ranges, because we've been sitting in this area of the chart for so long that you can really get lost in what levels are important and what levels aren't. So if I had to, put the most important levels on the chart right now, I would probably just delete almost everything as far as this goes. Q2 can go, and we'll go ahead and get rid of the val even at 41.3, even though I think that's a material level. It's just one of those things where probably just need to condense it and just say stick to the point of control, have this marked off as a zone, and we'll get rid of the pivot here. And that these are the levels that you need to be working off of, and play these levels for what they are. You lose this level, where are we going? Well, probably to the bottom of the range. But for right now, this is high time frame support. It was a really nice area to look for a long. Local range low, looking to take it back up, get back inside this resistance zone at the median of the range. If we can claim this area as support, we do have a nice long up to at least 43.5 in my opinion. Then all you're doing is you're watching local highs, right? So you're watching local highs for swing failure patterns as you come into resistance, this guy and this guy, right? Just to make sure that you're not getting stuck in a move like you did here. But my inclination would be that if we get a nice move down like this, get back above this level, that we'd probably rotate to the high of the range around 44.8. Nothing is technically broken in terms of the overall structure just yet. Losing 38K does start to look a little more, that's when right here, this is when things start to look bad. You lose this level on a closing basis and close below it. You're probably going to start challenging into this region. I think that you would then be looking down to like $31,773, $32,000, to put it simply. So that's it. That's the Bitcoin chart in a nutshell, as quickly as I could break it down. So the real fun from the last couple days hasn't just been that the levels have been very well respected. The order flow has been really, really great. So a lot of people in the group are starting to learn that. We've just been introducing it, slowly getting people up to speed with charting, now getting people up to speed with reading order flow and how it can actually help you make better trades and decisions, because it's easy to identify these levels, in my opinion. The hard part really is having the confidence to take the trades. And order flow is what can give people that confidence and give them not necessarily assurance, but it can give them where people are lacking, which is usually entering a trade with proper size, entering too late or too early. This is going to tell you when you should be taking entry and actually give you those confirmations. It's not like hey, this is just oversold, so we should be looking to buy. This is telling you the market has decided here we're switching directions. You need to get into the move. So that's the importance of it. That's why Max is part of our group. Really, I mean, it's what he does. He trades off of it almost exclusively. So it is very helpful to have that as a tool. So I'll turn it over to him if you want to take over and just let him know what part of the chart you're going to cover.
Yeah, I'm here. Let's go for it. So initially, I wanted to talk about some levels we've got below us. We've got a point of control at 39K exactly, and then we also have a TPO point of control down there. So it's a bit of an area. So 39,000 to 38,000. Call it 950, just to give it like a little clean box. That's a TPO point of control down there. Just something to be aware of. We also have a single print, which I know everyone in the group knows and loves. We have a single print from 40,837 all the way up to, I'd actually call it 41,150 and some change, because that's where two candles have, swapped over. So really, I would consider that all one single print. So it somewhat lines up with what you said, Magic, when you said if we get to, 41,300, there's a single print that will help us get there if we start to claim the previous highs at the 40,800 level. That single print should help us get there. So onto the footprint charts, which is what we all love to trade. The TA has just been so easy to read in the past 24, 48 hours. The addition of a rivalry or rivalry in the group. We don't actually fully know how to say his name, but his TA has been on point. It's been very good to to watch and follow along with. So when we were up here, we spotted, I will give it full credit, Rivalry spotted, that we had a serious amount of longs. This was the first drive up that we had at that 42K region. And when we got above here, if we zoom into the footprint chart, let me hide this because we don't need that. It's just something I'm testing out, watching. When we got above this area, you had so many longs jump into the chart, really buying the tops. And what do we know when retail buys the tops? What does the market maker like to do? Well, he likes to punish them. So we came back down, we squeezed out all of them longs. And then when we got to the bottom of the range, when we thought, maybe we were done, the day open was here for this day, or about here. And we had a load more longs pile in at resistance. And again, they got squeezed out and punished. You don't buy at resistance, even though you're thinking you're at the lows for the day. You are right below previous support that was the day open. And these people bought right there and they got punished for doing so. Then on the move up, we could see that, there was certain areas in the chart where many shorts piled into the market in places where you wouldn't really want to be opening shorts. And again, they got squeezed out as to be expected. So let's look here. Here you've got open interest positive of 5.8 million, but the delta for that candle here was negative 12 million. Quite a lot of shorts in an area where it's a strange area to be, opening such big shorts. And as you can see, they clearly got squeezed out. And this is how you spot a short squeeze when you're trading. If people would like to call it out online and stuff, it's only using the footprint charts that actually allow you to, spot a short squeeze, trade a short squeeze. It's only using these type of charts that you can do so. And then up at the top, there was so much resistance here. And we spoke about this in the exclusive members live stream that we had yesterday. We spoke about how much resistance there was here. There was daily levels. There was order blocks. There was,
There was an NPOC.
Yeah, there was so much there. If we didn't reject from that, I'd have been amazed, That weekly level and that bi-weekly level that we had at the 42K region and the 43.78 region, they have been such strong resistance, in the past month or two, that I just couldn't see us not rejecting that. And very clearly got rejected. It was actually quite difficult initially up here to, spot the rejection in the order book, because you didn't have any trapped longs for a little while. You didn't have any, huge positions. Where do we get our stacked imbalances as you started to reject? Well, not stacked. These are just, you've got 3 imbalances there. A lot of sells coming in. So you could have told here, okay, people aren't buying anymore.
It was the back test of the session VWAP, actually, I think is where they came in at. If you were watching the New York session, the New York session WAP is where I got in at like 42.6 and some change at the time. That's where it was at.
Yeah, the New York session VWAP.
Yeah, that's where you could have got in. That was the back test where those popped in. So that's where I took my entry.
Okay, we need to get someone to write us a script where the VWAP follows the sessions. That'd be so useful. Do you know what I mean?
That would be good.
So useful. But yeah, so what you could have told looking at the the footprint charts. Okay, so the buyers, we've had such strong all the way up. You had people buying and really pushing, keeping the market up. The move looked incredible, and then you got to the area where you expect some resistance, and you start to get a sell-off somewhat. So at the top of the move, you've got 41 million, which is a lot of volume, but the open interest is only 3.6 million, and the delta is actually completely stagnant. It's only 76k in that candle here. So for me, when I like to look at delta and I'm following a move, I put in the exclusive video that we have for trying to spot reversals. You want to see the delta switch up. You've got it somewhat positive. Then it slows down a little bit, and it even goes a bit negative. So it's stalling. Okay, it's stalling. Then you have one more final pop at the delta before it then, flips. So you have one pop here, which is when you get the 13 million, and then you get a really stagnant candle. where, you know, Delta then starts to switch up. The following candles are heavily negative. Minus 8.3, minus 16. Yes, you've got 2.2 million there, but that's just people trying to, you know, hold up the market, trying to buy, I don't know, in an area where, well, where one wouldn't want to buy, but they bought anyway and were put underwater straight away the next candle. As I imagine this is where that New York VWAP was it Magic? Because you have a load of shorts coming into the market, and this was your telltale sign here. Okay, you've got your signing imbalances, and a lot, you know, open interest is high. A lot of shorts coming into the market here. If you entered in this candle, which I hope, you know, most of the people that are trading the footprint charts with us did, you've got a clear cut stop loss, you know, just above the high there, and you've entered at market into a short. And, you know, it's been such a sustained sell-off. There's really been no, they've not taken their foot off the throat of the people that will be underwater. The people that have bought up here, they've really been punished out of their positions. So hopefully everyone in the group, you know, kind of realized how much resistance we had up here from the members stream. And yeah, everyone I imagine has longed up here will have been pushed out by now. And then down here, when we got to the bottom, that was such an amazing trade off the weekly open. It was literally perfect. And it was literally at 2:30 in the morning for me. Brilliant. Not a chance I'm making that. But yeah, I know definitely some people in the group got in there, which is always amazing to see. And right now, it looks somewhat strong. You know, demand could definitely come in. You've had the huge open interest, you know, sharp movement that I like to see, you know, to signal a trend is changing somewhat. And the trend I'm referring to is, you know, this very sustained sell-off that's taken place. The gold pocket from this move is actually at 40K. I don't know why this is taking so long to reload. Try again. Brilliant. And that's all great. So we'll try again. And the footprint charts actually just died on me, boys.
How do they die on you?
Look, it said the Bybit's gone down for maintenance.
Oh, great. Market must be about to make a move.
What's this? There we go. We're back. Okay, so in the immediate, you know, there's definitely demand that's come in here of people trying to buy. It's a bit of a battle, you know, we're stuck below the daily open here, but as we've claimed it, you know, it looks good. I would, you know, personally, I would like to come back down and test that golden pocket from the current low, from that weekly open area, because I'm not in a trade. I've only just gotten up, and that would be, you know, that's the easiest trade normally after you've had such a big move, you know, coming back down and testing the gold pocket from the current low. I would really like that. If we didn't get that and we came back down and, you know, went through the golden pocket, we have got that previous day point of control and TPO naked point of control at the 39K area. I'd also like that. That'd be decent, but I don't know whether you mentioned it, Magic, but, you know, if we came down there again, let me go on the 4 hour. If we came down there again, I don't know why we wouldn't, you know, sweep the lows of, have a look at them.
You're talking about taking the 40 or 38 467 low, basically the 38 500 low.
Yeah, I don't know why we wouldn't take them lows.
I agree. I think at that point you look down further into the golden pocket, because I don't think we went all the way through it. I think at that point you're
maybe even the 37K lows. Like there's so many.
Yeah.
I imagine there'll be a lot of liquidity down there.
Between 38 and 37.7, there's decent support, or at least people think there is. Going through that, I think sends us to 36,270 personally. I think that has been the level that we've been hanging on to on the daily chart. You can see it better on TradingView, obviously, but that would be the level that I'm looking at if we start losing support and get through.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind taking these lows.
You'll want to be on the daily to see it. If you look on the daily, you can see how many times we've swung fell that low. You have to go back a ways, but You just got all the levels up there.
It looks like my Kyber network chart.
Yeah, your Kyber network chart. You showed that to me last night. It was something.
Yeah, I would like to take them lows, to be fair.
All the way over to the left where their overall low is.
You want to take these?
No, keep going over to candle on like the 18th of February or January there.
That was that.
Do you see the 36,270? You can just put a horizontal at 36,270, like a complete horizontal. You'll see it once on there.
36,270. What are you referring to, Magic? You're referring to this support here.
So you're at 36,120. Click it to 36,270 or 36,320 there.
36,270.
Yep. So in terms of a closing basis, you can see how many times we've closed above and tested that level. Yeah. If you start losing like 37.7 in 38K, looking below, I know that you're looking at the lows there because that's what you got pinned, I assume, is that low right where you were just at. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't come back to that. It would remind me of back in June of 2021. There was one at like 33,000 and some change, and that one was just absolutely clutch, and it led to our 29,800 low actually once we gave it up. But it propped the market up in that range for over 45 days. And this one would be no different. So to me, if we lose the range low, I'm honestly just looking down to see if we can go and back test it. To me, it just doesn't make any sense to not to.
Yeah. Seems a solid level, that's for sure.
It's been doing wonders for a little bit. It's a weekly level as well. It's an old weekly level, but it's also worked out as an SFP on the daily time frame, pretty high time frame. You and your alerts, man, you just got to turn them all off. Not to derail you.
Mute trading view, but I don't know how I could do that. What is this chat here? How are you allowed to cause chaos in multiple channels and not be banned by YouTube? I'll never understand.
Yeah, in terms of dates, by the way, I saw somebody had a question earlier. I missed it. Javier, April 25th is the only date that I have on my chart. That's before the May dates.
April 25th, was that Monday?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But it doesn't matter. I don't want to derail Max, so he can just pick up wherever he goes there.
No, I'm pretty much done. I'm just seeing there's some longs come in here on this candle, but it looks like if they may be put into water already. That's the problem. Okay, if we are in this current read area, it does look somewhat, somewhat good. But if we start to lose these levels, so if we put a horizontal line here, if you start to come below here, you've got quite a few longs that will be underwater. So I know that's why River is just put in the chat, I wouldn't trade the retrace. And I see why there would be a lot of longs underwater straight off the bat to get down to that 40K gold pocket. So we'd have to see what the data says, when we start to head down there. You have to just wait for the data when it comes to this stuff. But yeah, I understand why you perhaps wouldn't want to take a long there, because there would be a lot of longs underwater. And that is the beauty of trading, the footprint chart. You can spot, okay, this is where the longs have come in. Yes. And then you have to think, okay, where would they put their stop loss if they were, a somewhat decent trader? And using market structure as one should, they would probably put it below the low. So as market makers always seek the liquidity, they'd probably push it down there. Just something to be aware of, but we'll see. We'll have to see. We need to wait for the data.
Do we only have the one single print above us?
Yeah, we actually only have the one. If I go back to this chart.
It starts at 40,800, no?
Yeah, it's 40,837 up to, I think I said 41,200-ish. So it's like a $400 single print. It's not too bad. Definitely something that I'd keep an eye on. Don't know why this is taking so long. Must be an issue with exo charts. Bear with. But yeah, it seemed the volume lined up with the TPO yesterday. There is a New York session point of control. I believe it's at 42,510 off the top of my head. I spotted that just before we came in, but that's, a few levels away at this point. It's not something, that we can really be trading as of right now.
I mean, if you get that high, you might as well just shoot up for that the old weekly naked point of control around like 43.5, in my opinion. If you reclaim 42.2 at this point, you might as well just run it up to weekly naked.
Where is that weekly naked at? Okay, yes, that's the single print for you, Paul. 40,837 all the way up to 40,137. But I would, if we expand the candles, the reason I would say 41,200, is because it's where the candles have one's closed, it's gone to the next. Really, I would, I'd count that personally.
I got 43,569 for the weekly naked point of control.
We do we have an 80-20 today?
You mean a 60-40?
60-40, you guys are calling it.
I mean,
the previous day Val was right up there at 41,300. So that lines up with your, was it the Q2 level magic?
No, it's the quarter 3 low. I mean, that quarter 3 low has been clutch, just like the quarter 4 low. The quarter 3 high was also really important. Obviously, we lost that and then dumped straight into where we are now. The highs and lows of some of these can be. The key is to watch the monthly interactions with lows like that to see if they're defended, and if they are, you can actually start to play the acceptance back into the candle kind of, and you can start to all right, if I get above this, what's my next level? You can just use it as a basing marker. It's not always meant to serve as support and resistance, but sometimes it will be, just depending on the context.
Do you take it as like a heads up in advance for before you get into the value area of that?
Sometimes
Q3 area.
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll look at the quarter actually. I'll look at the Q4 and I'll determine where the low and the high is, and I'll say, okay, if we get above that, what's my Q4 range look like? Out of curiosity, like where's my TPO values? Where's my profile values? Is there anything in there that I can utilize by getting above that level? Is it relevant? If not, I move on and I just go to more local information. But I will use it as kind of a heads up. And sometimes, well, not even sometimes, a lot of times when you get these high time frame levels like that, there's a lot of market structure that works into it. And you're really not looking at volume at that point. You're just looking at the overall market structure and saying, okay, well, if we lose that level, that's bad. That doesn't look good at all. We're finding our way underneath like specific lows a lot of times. Like if you mark off the Q3 high and the Q4 low, the two levels that were swung fail on high time frames, you can basically see a pretty good snapshot of our range that we're in now, just between those two levels. So it's definitely something to keep in mind. There's a lot of people out there that will play like this last week. The previous week low was very important. Sometimes it's contextual, but when you start getting into things like the 3-month chart and the yearly chart, those lows become very important. That's all I would really say about that, is if you're ever wondering how to mark those.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I think I should start tracking them quarterly lows and stuff. I think that was quite interesting to then get acceptance back into the range.
Yeah, and it's floating right around the point of control of the range, so like there's a lot of volume being done in that region. So it just becomes an area that like you should know about, That's all there is to it. So I've
just spotted we have some bearish divergence here on the it's a low time frame. The liquidity isn't crazy, but talking low time frames, it might offer a little trade maybe to the bottom of this mini range, and the longs have all come in above. Let's have a look. This candle here, so really above the day open. You start to lose the day open here, there's going to be some longs underwater. So that's like my favorite thing when looking for absorption in the CVD is flipping them longs to put them underwater. That's when I really like to trade a CVD divergence, and we do have a clear-cut sign here. You lose the day open / the VWAP. The longs that have created this divergence here, look here. As soon as we put these underwater, there's a good chance they'll be squeezed out and we head down.
Yeah.
Unless this high is taken, then it was leading, but
can happen.
Just something to be aware of.
Hudson's got a question about the 80-20. So 80-20 is actually something that you can find in a lot of books, and it's on YouTube. It's been around for a long time. It's the concept of that if you closed outside of a previous range and you find acceptance back into it, you have an 80% chance of cycling that range. In this case, we're talking about the prior day. So I call it the 60-40 because it's not technically 80% and 20% anymore. Yeah. It's actually pretty close. It's like 70. What is it? 75-25.
75% to the previous day point of control. So it's the two candle closes above the previous day value area. So if we look at it here, where we've got it somewhat clear cut. If you get two 30-minute candle closes above this level, there's a 75% chance that you will hit the previous day point of control. And it's in the books, it's taught that it's 80% that you hit the opposite value area, so the value area high. But actually, the statistics say that in crypto, it's actually only 50%.
Your play to the previous day point of control. Yeah.
But the trade that we've got today, you're thinking two 30-minute candles in this area, chances are you just fly straight through it. So
you probably
it's sometimes a pain when stuff like that happens, when it's so close. But I don't really trade them that much anymore because of the stats.
I will if we've been ranging at like a peak for a while. Like the best ones are when like you're either at a low and you've actually put in a bit of a base and you dumped at the end of the day and you're below the range and you know that you've been down there putting in some structure, or same with the highs. That's when you can look at that and say, man, we've been up here for a while. We have some signs of like, some selling going on. You might get that push into it. And it just gives you a nice trigger to kind of like, okay, I've got easy targets here, easy take profit. It's nice to get an easy day trade occasionally. That's when I really utilize them. Otherwise, I'm kind of like you. I don't even look every day anymore. The only thing I'm really interested in is I need to know where the previous day values are because I'm going to use those to trade for at least the first few sections, like all the way through the New York almost. Once we get into New York, I don't necessarily look away from the previous day information, but that New York session, I will pull it up and trade by itself almost. It's just been so good,
It has. That's such a big area. Look how much resistance there. You've got the previous day point of control, the val, the EQ. The gold pocket is just above it from the top here. So the gold pocket starts at 41,711. So this region here, from like here to here, is such a big area. If we get above that, then I do reckon we'd go up and see them highs that you mentioned, Magic. But
XRP Shieldbilly says it's crazy. There's more people that aren't here. It's solid as fuck. Well, it is, and it has been for a long time. So your name is Shieldbilly, so shill it, man. Like let them know.
XRP Shieldbilly. They was in the big.
Is that Erska? It's Erska in disguise.
Yeah, it's got to be. We actually we trade XRP too. I've given the low on XRP so many damn times and the exact high. So yeah, if you like to trade XRP, this applies. XRP is one of the better volume trading altcoins, actually. Just so people know, if you're looking to trade a coin and like range trade it, XRP is a really great coin to day trade. Very, very easy ranges to trade. Link is another one. You want good volume, obviously, so you don't want to be trading like it. Stuff can apply to what I call like absolute shit coins, but if you're looking for things like footprint, information and like previous day data to day trade, XRP, Link, that type of stuff. Those coins right there, they really respect it, along with like Ethereum, obviously.
A lot of the older coins, man, the ones that haven't moved like big, like Litecoin and EOS, and Tron is actually another one. Oddly enough, they basically remained in the same area for like 4 years, basically within the same range, essentially. So they're pretty reliable in that aspect, which is funny.
Litecoin actually does trade really easy. That's a really good point.
In answer to Hudson, so Dalton did make the theory, but he made it for the stock market when he said 80-20 because the statistics aren't 80-20 for the crypto market. But it is Dalton's theory. If you hear anything different, that's what it is actually called. Just like get that out there.
Rye guy's in here with the shirtless flex.
Yeah, Rye guy's putting it out there. No, that's a good point, because sometimes we do call it Daltons in the chat, so people should know. Some days we'll ask if there's a Dalton in play, but yeah, near definitely respects the range. T-Bone throws up a lot of near trades and crushes it, so it's definitely working.
I'll keep an eye on the footprint chart if you guys want to take a look at some alts. I'll shout if anything goes on.
Yeah, Paul, you're up.
Sounds good. Speaking of near, we'll just take a look at that. I didn't. I meant to pull this up when I was on Debate Crypto earlier, and I did not. I saw a bunch of people requesting it, but let's see here. Take you off.
Man, I really hope the volume stays good today. The volume has been so lit recently. Like, we've had such a dry patch, and then the past 2 days have been so much fun to trade.
Just straight up and straight down. For near, so once again, I mean, anybody that's watching on TikTok, you can see the whole screen on YouTube. Video will be recorded if if you want to go back or anything like that too. Otherwise, I am just recording basically the behind the scenes, our restream center right here. So that's why it just looks so small. But I just figured I'd stream it on there. Near, yeah, the ranges on near have been incredible. And T-Bone in the group, I mean, he's almost pioneered every aspect of this coin over the last few weeks. And this is a really good example of something that actually a project with a ton of not necessarily hype, but like attraction, or a ton of, I mean, it's not many days go by right now that you don't hear of like Luna or near, right? And realistically, from the low of like February, which if you remember, this was the date when Bitcoin, this was the day of the invasion, I believe. So this was when we dropped down, that was the news at the time, right? Whatever. But anyways, at the low, from the low to the high, this project over the last few weeks, which is nothing to scoff at, right? This is 167% move to the upside. But if you were to see the amount of moves that the people in our group have been making off of this, just between the ranges, I mean, it's like a daily 60% moves, 40%. Obviously, these are trades based off leverage. So I mean, it's you need to have a game plan and play for that. But aside from the initial run up, this recent area right here, which we were looking at yesterday, and it was a real pain in the rear, so to speak. This is the April range here, so it was pretty hard, and T-Bone can attest to that, right? To try to short near recently, and this was the time frame I think of most, where we were kind of reaching the top of the range, and this was the time where it just kept pushing up out of just basically deviated straight up. But aside from that, you're talking from the 9th, so 11 days basically. This coin is just perfectly traded within this range. I mean, it has been cookie cutter, even to yesterday, right? Yesterday, I really did anticipate we'd probably break this one, just because we had been tagging it so much. But you really, you can't be looking for longs, obviously, at the high here. So anybody that went for the short, right, and you got a stop loss right above the previous high. Granted, we wicked just above it, but essentially, if you would have had, caught that one, and even with just a little higher stop loss there, I mean, that was another like 15%, just clear cut move just to the range low, 11%. I'm sorry. And at this point too, same thing. You can't look for shorts at this point. So you'd be looking for a long at the bottom here. I mean, this is just while everybody else is really frustrated with the price action, or and don't get me wrong, you can get stopped out of these easily, but this has been a really great one great project to trade, and this is just a perfect example of pretty much how everything's been trading recently as well. So aside from the actual just straight move up, so if looking at this just a little clearer, right, we had our range low kind of come in here, and you had you can look at this as an inverse head and shoulders pretty much down at the bottom, which the neckline of this was right at the range low. So what we did here was we deviated from the range. Essentially, you'd be looking to reclaim the range. So at this point, you also had a pattern stacked up with it, right? So not that the patterns don't play out, but it's really great when they line up with a lot of our levels here, right? And you got, what was the measured move? Probably exactly where we ran it up to. right, perfectly. So what was also up there, weekly level, right? So that would have been a nice little move there. What are you also right above at the time? You're right above the quarterly point of control. You lose that, what happens, right? We go back down to the range low. I mean, and it's just, just back and forth. Really, really nice, clean, clear trading here. These two areas are where things get a little interesting, right? And anybody that's looking at this, probably started drafting up some wedges or triangles or whatever the case may be, when once again, you can go off of that. But at the same time, what really matters is we reclaim the point of control. And from that point, you're looking up. Well, where are you looking up to? Well, we got the range high up here is ultimately your next target. We had a couple of major key levels in between, and your yearly open was all stacked up here. So that was our next major target up here. Pulled it back, quarterly key level, broke out, and basically we've been holding above this entire range now. So for near, as far as, when we finally resolve this range here, which I have to imagine, unless Bitcoin really starts melting down, if Bitcoin starts melting down, we're going to re-enter this previous range and we're probably just going to rotate it back to $9, right? And that's a 50%. Is that 50? No. Well, it probably would be from the high. Yeah, 44% fall. That'd be pretty detrimental. That's assuming the whole market melts down. But if we resolve this to the upside, then we pretty much are, now tackling into price discovery mode, which means that we're going to be breaking into all-time highs. And now you're taking fib extensions, to get the next targets up here. So yeah, near has been good. And I bring that whole idea up just because touching on the range data is that anybody who's been, trying to buy in here, most people are probably picking up near at these peaks right here, these tops. And once again, this is no simple drop, right? These are 10 to 15% pullbacks. And when in reality, these just been really, really crisp and easy trading areas right here. So this chart may look really busy. I hope it looks, I'm trying to keep it as clear and understandable as possible. But yeah, that's just an idea here of what we do pretty much every day in the group. And for anybody, that's not in our group yet, like you can join it. It's our link is in the description on TikTok and on YouTube, right? It's Leading Crypto here. You get access to all of our altcoin setups, all of our Bitcoin analysis, our order flow. We've got member-only market up. So what we're doing now is kind of like a glimpse of what we do twice a week with the member market updates. We go a lot more in depth, a lot more in detail. I cover sometimes up to 20 or 30 altcoins at a time. But we also go into, what to expect with Bitcoin coming up, right? So right now we're kind of just covering the previous week, but we go into detail of what's to come in our members only market updates. Those are recorded and put in here. And then we have a slew of just, active traders all, throughout here daily. Like I said, we got T-Bone, we got Rye Guy, we got Twin, Don't Go Chasing Alts. We got a new, gentleman Rivalry, who's been adding a lot of great value to the group as well. Thanks to Miss Alley Cat. But yeah, anybody that's interested, we do put everything in there. Now that I'm done shilling, another coin I was looking at real quick that I didn't get to cover earlier today. I'm going to try to remember to post this in here. I've already posted it before. It's just back to, now that we've had this pullback out of Bitcoin, obviously the altcoins pull back to certain levels of support. And Crow is one of them. So CRO. Crow has been respecting this range really well, right? This is also, basically been a nice high time frame area here. You got your range low, which does come in about 38 cents. The natural target, though, this is where you get rejected at the range high, you're coming back down to the point of control. You bounce off the range low, you're coming to the point of control. Like this is our our main magnet of price action, so to speak. And you got that rejection at the range high, just as everything else. And where we find support right now, right? We're at our point of control. So not the area that you want to probably look for to, take a leverage trade from, realistic. You can obviously go for it, I guess. But, as far as a DCA standpoint, right? Like you're, around these, lows over here. These are some major supports. And, even from the high so far, this would be, a 20% pullback from where this was last week. So things of that nature. And then once again, you don't have to leverage trade these altcoins by any means. I know we were just talking about that with the ranges, and it is possible, but even just kind of identifying the levels to look for and understanding where those main supports are coming in, main resistances. Yeah, you're going to break them, and you're going to have those, those not random, but you're going to have the big rallies where we do move 200% in a couple of days, whatever. But these consistent moves here are really where it's made. And just from the point of control, even if it does drop another 5% on your DC on your hold strategy, right? You're really looking upward of this range high as your next target. That's about 20%, right? And that's a really great trade that could be had maybe over a couple of days, a couple of weeks, and then realistically up here to this yearly key level would be the next main target up here. And if we do come down to this range low, right, then that's a nice 30 to 40% move here. But I did want to point out that Crow is coming, that did come back down to the point of control. For anybody that's looking to scout out any specific areas here, I'm just going to bring up Doge because Doge is another one that's just like you can just see how it's almost almost in the same sense of near, right? We had that one day. I don't remember what was going on here. I think maybe an Elon tweet was the reason, right? But we had this inverse, Adam and Eve double bottom, which we kind of saw across the board on many altcoins back around this time, like the 15th of March, with let's see here. Once again, I overlay these patterns with our levels just to kind of give some confluence to some certain areas, but realistically, the key things to take here is regardless, you'd want to see this point of control reclaimed for more upside. And you could, argue that this would be around the neckline of this pattern here, right? And then if you're looking for measured move, give or take, right? That would have put you up here, basically at the range high. Obviously, we spiked past it to the yearly open and a little higher than that. But as far as, an open move here, that would have been, a solid 20 or 30% too, depending on how you got into this. But so far, for Doge, for example, we re-entered the range. We lost the point of control several times so far. We're really struggling to get above it. And the monthly open is the only thing really holding us up. So we lose this monthly open at about 30, basically where we are right now. Do anticipate seeing the range low for that, which is another 10% drop. Looks like 15. And then on the contrary, right, you reclaim the point of control about 14.5 cents. Then we're looking back up to the upside. Axie Infinity was the one I was the first one I was going to come on here and talk about anyways. Axie Infinity, right? Once again, depending on, how you view things and whatnot. Bad news came out. I don't even remember what it was. Maybe they got hacked or something. One of the two, either that or somebody stepped down from their board. I don't know if that was Phantom or them. Either way, right? We were coming up. We had this double top put in regardless. That news came out like literally right here after we had already popped in that double top already. Anyways, we started coming down, we re-entered this range. So at that point, you're already, targeting point of control at least, and then you got high probability of rotating the whole range, meaning you're going to go from high to low. And that's what we've done here, right? So, and with this pullback in Bitcoin, we are once again at the low. So this is major support here for Axie Infinity. For anybody looking into this, once again, as far as what the project does, I couldn't tell you. Obviously I know about it, but what I'm saying is like what it is sometimes doesn't necessarily coordinate to what it is in the chart, so to speak. So this could just be a decent trade. You don't have to get into this and hold it for dear life. But even from where we are, right from that range low to the range high, once again without leverage, that's a 50% move. That's to be anticipated over a few weeks, days, weeks, whatever, depending on how the market moves in general. But running it back to that range high would not be out of the question. Your first target would be that point of control, about $50. You got your, literally there's 4 levels here that you could really play off of. Really, really simple, really clear, clean. You break that range high, yearly key levels, the next major one up here by $87. All right. Still a DJ. What has been cake? Let me see. I can't see that. Oh, Ape. Yeah, Ape has been cake. I think I didn't really post too many Ape charts though. In the beginning, it was like really nothing to go off of. But yeah, let me see here. Where's it at? I was looking at it the other day. Yeah, this was I wish I did post this actually because this played out really well. So same deal here, right? Ape, crystal clear, just range high, cycle range low, point of control. Like I said, main target, right? You're either going to break that and cycle to the range high, you get rejected, you come back to the range low, and vice versa. Same thing in the top here. And from here, you reclaim that point of control. where did we go? Range high. We broke that range high. These are fib extensions up here. So that ran it up probably to the 1.6, probably 1.272, something of that nature up here. Some nice rejections up here. Well, where did we come back to? Now we're back testing the range high. So, yeah, it's just, and this is all without, RSI, all without MACD, all without, I do pull up the RSI, I'm not gonna lie, for, divergences more than anything these days. But yeah, that's just.
I just haven't traded. I haven't traded the RSI in so long. I'd see why people use it, and I see some creators use it so well. But for me, I've just never had. I never really knew how to use it. Like some people trade it so well, do you know?
I used to really. I mean, like I said, the best thing to me has always been divergences. But you also have to put other things into context at that point too. But the biggest thing was always, and you can obviously look at something oversold, overbought, whatever. But there's so many times where, and then like Bitcoin is a really good example, where like even just the summer crash last year is probably one of the best examples ever, right? I'm sure you already know what I'm going to pull up here. But
show me.
When we were dropping over here, and you got wick, right? If you're looking at RSI at this time, you're coming down and you're oversold, right? So yeah, you get your bounce, and then essentially you're coming over here, you're getting a lower, you come lower, you get a lower one here. Now you got bullish divergence building up, so you're pretty pumped, and you get another pump up to the upside, and then what happens? You roll over pretty much lower than where you were on the wicks. I mean, it's not it's just not indicative of the moves necessarily. I mean, it's definitely a helpful tool when you're like coming into other areas and you're also like literally on the floor. But it's just such a it's just so laggy.
I think it's better on a high time frame, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's once again, like for divergences. I mean, that's, to me at least, it's really decent in that aspect. I'm trying to look at just, I mean,
that's where the CVD is good on the low time frames for the divergence anyway.
Yeah.
Which it looks like we may actually put some of them longs underwater now, heading towards the daily open.
Yeah, Farouk had just asked about Filecoin. I actually did an entire chart build on Filecoin. I need to go back and watch it. It was like about 6 weeks ago, probably. Filecoin.
That's daily open. Yeah, them longs are underwater now, so I imagine that divergence may play out. It's kind of holding the day open, but if it loses the VWAP, I reckon that divergence may play out.
We do actually have a video on like this exact like Magic said, he built out his chart for everybody, so it's an interesting one. From what I have last, just ran it to the range high, got the rejection, sitting at the point of control, holding it. We had just lost it actually, so on a daily basis at this point. So at the moment, I would imagine we're probably going to, unless we start closing above this, 1960 again, which we just closed a daily below. And right now we're hovering under. Granted, we just did it right here too. So, not a nail in the coffin for sure. But I would imagine we're going to head down to this range low at this point, which is about a 10% move to the downside. So possibly in line with Max's, longs underwater story here. If we start dropping back to 38, everything else is obviously going to take a little hit here. But yeah, I mean, Filecoin is one that's pretty good to trade in the range too. I mean, you see how we've just pretty much tackled, low to high, probably going to come back down and sweep the low again. And then from here, the range high would be $25, $26. And then at that point, you'd really want to see, this is on the daily time frame. So this is a perfect example. As you can see here, you want to look for these. And the thing is a day, right? It's 24 hours. And so when these wicks right here, at some point were a full candle, and, it could be that way for 23 out of the 24 hours. And it's just like today when we were up at $43,000 Bitcoin for maybe 90 minutes today. That was enough to rattle everybody up, and then we slowly dragged down to 39K over like what was it? It was 9. That was pretty much right at the New York Open, or the daily, whatever, at 9:30. I saw it at 43, pretty much punch up, and then we hit 39K at like 7 or 8 p.m. So that was a long time to just be bleeding down, right? Because everybody's watching with bated breath, probably trying to take along from every aspect. But this is a perfect example of, seeing this range. What you want to look for is if a daily candle starts closing outside of here, so a full body, well, then you got pretty decent probability at that point. We're probably going to run it up to this yearly open. And from there, we got a quarterly key level up here at 50. But yeah, that would be the next major hurdle is really just kind of reclaiming this range high, about 26.50. So that's like 30% from where we are now. And that's assuming we don't go down to the range low. So at the moment, I mean, that would be the probability, unless we really flip this. So, and H bar, man, H bar has just been a don't even know what to call it. It's been perfectly hugging this range low. I mean, this would be, an ideal area to kind of, scoop some up, as long as we don't lose this range. I mean, we may end up, just dropping out of this range here. The amount of time we spent just kind of outside, as you can see here. So once again, daily candles, we've fallen out of this range and we have not closed back in. So that would be kind of that first clue, that we, would have that probability of rotating this range again up towards the high, would be to close the daily back in here. And it's not far from where we are, but you can just see how it's just Wick City, basically since the 16th. So that would be something to kind of look for there. At a H bar, point of control comes in like 21 cents. So that's a little 10% mover there. This range isn't that big. It's like, I say only, but it's only 33%. But that's still a really nice move once again without leverage. I mean, that's a really good move just short term. And then same deal, you start reclaiming this range on it. You see how the wicks on a daily, just Wick City, no daily close. You get a daily candle outside of here. We're probably going to cycle it up towards this yearly open and the yearly key level up here. Who's that then? We're literally all live on YouTube now. Oh, somebody thought I was stealing content. Yeah, I'm just recording the back end here, but these are this is me and the people that I work with. So, but yeah, I'll give credit to the guys. Magic Internet Money. We closing longs, boys.
I didn't close mine fully. I took half profits on mine. I'm just gonna wait, take a look, see what happens. If I have to get out of the rest of the half, I will. But looking at the high time frame, just where we're at, it's bounce worthy. So for me, I'll lock in some profits, make sure that I get paid no matter what. And if this comes down, I'll close the trade and take a lower profit on that half and move on to the next one. I don't really care. There's always another trade, so that's it.
No, sir. You have to 100x long the bottom.
I am fully aware, but most of those, most of those guys that say things like that. Well, actually, you know what? I will say this: the space has gotten a lot better about, those types of accounts have kind of disappeared, and as they should, because statistics say that they're going to. I mean, like
they've probably been wrecked.
Yeah, they're done, especially if they're actually trading like that. That's the thing.
I got nothing against anybody that active. Like I see a lot of people post. It's attractive as can be, right? It's to see somebody making like 400% gains or 1,000%. But when you see the leverage is at like 50x, I mean, you're literally talking about a 2% not stop loss. Like that is liquid. You are completely throwing it out there. Like,
there's a way to do that with like cross leverage.
Yeah, I know. There's only a few people that know how to do that properly, though. I mean, like anybody else, though, is just like straight like going gangster, like, and it's just, I don't know, it's just, it's crazy.
It doesn't matter either scenario. You have to have risk management. It doesn't matter if you don't have the numbers worked out and the ratios don't work. You're not going to be profitable either way, So you still have to use risk management. It's just a different vessel, so to speak. But yeah, you can get those gains and make those like headlines of like, oh, I had 1,000% gains on a 10% move. But how much money are they playing with? Like what part of their portfolio? It should all balance out in the end due to risk. But we live in a TikTok and YouTube land, so the rules don't really apply.
People just
see what they
10x
want.
it, 100x in $10 and like, oh yeah, I just made 1,000%. Like liar, made nothing.
You probably did. I mean, you made 1,000%. Just
Are you telling me you don't want to make 1,000% on $10? I would. I mean, why not?
Yes, but when they're promoting it like they're making absolute fortunes, it's like
yeah.
I mean, yeah. Some if you're making like 600% on $50, that's $300. If you could do that every day, go for it.
I would never trade cross leverage on KuCoin. I don't actually hate KuCoin at all. The only reason I don't trade on KuCoin is because one, I don't think the platform is user friendly, and I had a buddy that I got into trading. This dude turned like $20,000 into a couple $100,000, and they got hacked, and he lost like I want to say it was like $60,000 or $80,000. It took them like 6 to 8 months to get him only about 2/3 of his money back. And I think he's still waiting on like $14,000. So like that's my only beef with KuCoin is I know someone personally that was hacked and did not get their money back, and he still emails to this day. And to me, like they've made the statement that they've refunded everyone, and it's just not true. So to me, that's why I won't touch that exchange. I think I have Q&T on there, and that's about it.
One thing
I like KuCoin for the small cap. I didn't love their margin trading.
I've never tried out their margin trading. I took a look at it one time to potentially do it, and I was so lost and confused when I saw it because I'm used to Bybit, and it's like Bybit's so user friendly, and I just looked at it and I was like, this is just not worth it at all. It's not even worth testing out. So I just left. If it's that hard where I can't figure it out, a person who's had a cell phone in their hand for over a decade, computer friendly, trades for a living, and then
are you though?
I was gonna say you got like a flip phone and you struggle, sometimes to get on TikTok.
Y'all can just completely fuck off, man. Like, I'm the boomer in the group. I'm going to be 34 this weekend, so I'm the boomer.
Those that don't know, and, we have a staff Magic without fail always has problems.
I heard you trying to call Charles and Schwab trying to get your orders in the other day, man. I was like,
I rang him up. I rang up the Wolf of Wall Street, and
we have a huge initial balance for today. I didn't actually mention it when I went over the TPO chart. It takes up today's full range pretty much. So when you have a big initial balance, it's normally signals, a ranging day. So that is just something to note. Look,
I didn't actually check it, to be honest.
But the full. Let me even expand it today's candle so we can see. So the whole range
it's really big.
Is just it's $500 something well, just about. So chances are we just get a ranging day because yesterday's was how big's that? I mean that was not too. $300, $200 yesterday. So $200 tight initial balance. One could we could say, and you get big moves. Today's a big initial balance. So normally when you get a big initial balance, you get a ranging day.
Have we?
I quite like to see that. To be fair.
We haven't formally touched the initial balance high or low yet. It looks like we came pretty close. And the only reason I bring that up is we talked about this.
Your little VWAP trade.
Yeah, the 90% rule. If you touch the end of the initial balance, it will go back to the VWAP 90% of the time.
Would you not count that? Would you not count how close you were there? You were probably...
I don't have that built in. I didn't have that built into the statistics for prior, so I would say no. It's 0.09%.
Yeah, it's very close.
I'd probably count that, but I mean you're already back at the VWAP, I guess. But I mean, if it ran to the low of this, it's what 40,200. We know that 40,300 actually is a fairly important level in terms of volume. It's the
I count that 40,500 to 40,300 area. I just count it as a box. I've got it on a box on my high time frame chart, and that's just like I'll always.
Yeah, it's a
have
fun
it as
place
a
to little
box.
play. Yeah, it's a good place. 40.3K for me has been pretty clutch. 41,274 obviously, or 41.3. Man, there's quite a few. You could start breaking down into quarterly levels like 38.2, but at that point you might as well stretch it up to 38.5. This has been quite the range, and it's still going on. So there's so many levels you could actually just list. But I will say this, that's a fair one. The big one is really coming down to about, give or take 35,027. That's a big one. You get below that, and those have been the best places to buy, overall, underneath that. But
do you not think if we did go down to test these lows, I just think
I think we'd see
these
32.
lows are on the cards.
I think we'd see 32K, and I think that we talked about this with the Gartley targets a long time ago. I do think that we would see some lower prices at that point. I think we'd see the 1-to-1. I think that's coming in just below the overall low of the last range. Actually, it'd be like a swing failure pattern. Honestly, with the information that's came in, I'd have to reevaluate a little bit. There's a gap down there at like 24 to $27,000, and that I've been eyeballing it right around 26 and some change. I would view that as a zone, but everybody always asks, would that break the bull market? And I contend no. I do think that region of the chart is a true capitulation region where people do think it's going back to 10K or 14K or these numbers that I honestly think we'll never see. Those are going to be, if that opportunity arises and you're not available to buy, well, that sucks for you, I guess. Like you've put yourself in that position yourself by not planning and having capital available. But at the same time, I don't think we'll live there very long. I think it'll be such a short-lived move that it'll be just a wick. It's just going to be a wick and a blip on the radar, just like the Corona dump. While it's a giant red candle, it literally after that just methodically comes up because you have true capitulation. Have we seen that yet? I'm not really sure. There's a lot of people that think this is a wave 4, maybe not. I tend to agree. The wave 4 theory. I hate Elliott wave, but I tend to agree. This is some kind of a flat correction. My preferred scenario is to take the lows, and I've mentioned that several times. I do think that the 32K low is a weak low. That 32,903. I would love to take that low because I do think the moment we take the lows down there, everyone would be saying crypto is dead. We're going to 20K. And I don't think we come anywhere near it. We might not even fill the gap. I think that we would come down, maybe touch into $28,000 area, just like we didn't actually fill the 3K gap. We never actually filled it. We filled a naked point of control, and we filled a 1-to-1, but we didn't
if we didn't swing fail, then that 29K low or the 28K low. If we didn't swing fail it like straight away, imagine the amount of people that will be shorting in anticipation for closing that gap.
We talked about this on a live. We did, and we talked about this, and we said if you don't swing fail it, and you go down there and you just fuck around for a little bit and you regain the range, it's the easiest trade of your life. I mean, it really is, because the amount of shorts that would pile in are going to be insane.
I mean, think of the creators that would literally just
MM Crypto, I can't imagine how big his mouth would be on the fucking thumbnail, dude. It'd just be a thumbnail with like the sides of his mouth. It'd just be his whole mouth. That's all it would be.
We'd be able to check his throat. We'd be able to see if he's got any infections at the back of his throat.
I'll literally pay hundreds of dollars to the next guy that can just edit that, where me walking out of the dude's O face saying, all right, guys, here's today's Bitcoin analysis. Like, fucking Christ.
Back up we go.
Yeah.
It would just be a complete flush of, traders, people in the market, investors, creators. So many people, I think, would just, leave the market. And then like we had on, the last run up to 69K where the open interest was so small. Imagine when people leave the space and then come back when we're at like
there's
58K, 60K.
resistance there. That's what I mean. It's like people that are
Nothing
saying
there.
that people keep saying like, oh, we'll go to 74K and we'll come back down. I'm like, what in the fuck makes
Why
you
would
think
we?
that? Like,
Why would we?
why would that make any sense? It makes zero sense.
People don't get excited at 80K when they think they're going to 100. And when we break 100 and they're thinking we're going to 200, 300, 400, that's when people will start, coming back into the space. It'd be great to have a flush of
I still don't think that we peak.
And
honestly, I don't think we peak until almost next year. My fib times for the peak really do come in all the way out to October and February of next year. Those are the 2 dates that I'm looking for. And October's, in my opinion, very premature, but it could happen if you get a blow off top. Like we'll see it coming. But like February of 2023, that's the date that I've really got marked on my candle or my chart. That day is going to be very important. It really is. It comes across on many time frames. It comes across as one-to-ones, all kinds of things. That, in terms of distribution of time and price, is going to be probably one of the most important quarters for Bitcoin. Is next year, Q1, and it's really looking further out. But it just, everything just lines up for that. So, if I had to pick a day when this actually finally makes a peak, in my opinion, it would be then.
Pick an actual day.
February 20. Well, actually, I will. I'll switch to the chart and I'll pick a day. That's a hard
make or break you. This or magic. We're gonna clip it, and you're either right or you're wrong, and we'll all just either
burn this whole
or love you.
Either
like Jesus or Satan.
You can just burn this whole Discord to the ground if I'm wrong. Paul's totally okay with it. February 27th of 2023. Right before
the 29th.
Nope.
XRP Shillbilly. All the people that would mute your comments are literally talking. We're not like, and what I'm looking at and thinking, he said, "Oh, we can cuss, thank fuck," and thinking he's not getting shut around and thinking, well, we're all here just talking to each other. No one's moderating it. Mark on the go with his backing the truck up.
Did you guys see that? Bybit's going to do leverage tokens?
No,
I don't keep up with what they're doing. They keep trying to shill some raffle ticket or lottery thing they're doing.
No. They're about to
go away. I'm already gambling enough on your app.
They're giving away NFTs right now, which I'm not into the NFT space really, which, for better or worse there. But in terms of I wish I would have got into a lot of NFTs. Like I was early enough, like to hear about them, but I don't know. I'm a skeptic and a bit of a boomer, and opening up new wallets that have access to browsers and passwords do concern me. So I did avoid some of the NFT space for that reason. But that said, they do have an NFT marketplace, and they're talking about doing leverage tokens, which I'm not really sure how I feel about that. The 3x leverage. We've talked about this before. A lot of those tokens tend to die off on exchanges. So I'm not really sure the end game there for Bybit. But I think Melanie, our rep, she did email me and tell me about it. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, that's cool. But what the fuck am I going to do with that information? Like, why should people really care? You're already a leverage exchange. Like, you can spot trade, of course, but most people that go there, they find their way to the leverage platform for better or worse. The leverage token, the only benefit I've seen to leverage tokens is the liquidation theory. Like you don't really get liquidated on it. It just goes down infinitely. But Bybit is expanding really, really quickly. Like I'm wondering how long it'll be until they require KYC. From everyone, like I think that's coming eventually. I just don't know how far down the road it is.
Interesting.
Not to get off topic, we're just rambling about random things because we've done the TA at this point. We're just watching price action. So
I like it. Imagine, you should do, since we're putting out, your February idea. We've already went over this last week anyways, but since we're breaking down, not breaking down, but we dropped a little bit here. You want to look at we were looking at you had the 1-to-1 lined up with your March 28th time, which is not anything to like, obviously take to heart, but I can't remember what we were looking at that with. Like, wasn't that like something that could possibly take us down into the sweeping the lows idea?
You're talking about the 1-to-1 in the recent extension on time and price. Let me pull that chart up. Sorry, let me get off the BLX here. And that does tie into April 25th, but I'm not really looking for it per se because I just don't necessarily think it's relevant until we lose certain levels. But if someone was interested to learn how to, correlate moves, this is how you would do it. So let me
share
make
your
this
screen, Magic.
That's what I'm doing. I'm deleting things off of it so it's simple. That way all the levels are gone.
I see you.
No, not necessarily. Just making sure that when we're speaking that everything is clear. So, this is a really easy way to look at things in terms of distribution of time and price, especially in this case because this is a very important area and level on the chart. Can you guys see my screen? Because it's not showing on mine. All right, there we go. All right, so in terms of time and price, right? So I am actually pretty happy about this, and there are a couple guys in the group that are in that group. We called this pattern before that group, days before I had this one out. So I'm gonna shill that. You guys caught it down here. I was up in this region. We were looking for this, and we were looking for 47.707. The big thing that you're looking for now is the correlation between XA, and you're looking to expand that to D essentially, because you want to see the correlation between S and A and D and the. All right, so this is what you're looking for in terms of time and price. You're looking for the 1-to-1 on April 25th. What that brings, no one truly knows. But if we were to get like a dump, because we are coming into support, right? We're talking about this now. We're like, well, there's no real interest right here. We don't have longs coming in. If we lose this level, there's longs coming in, but they'd be underwater if these levels are lost. And it would really create a nice push down. And if we lose certain levels, you can see the floor here. It's there. Well, we have about 4 days to do that. So keep that in mind. Over the next, 4 or 5 days, it's pretty important for Bitcoin to put in some structure here. If it doesn't, well, this to me would start to look like a low, meaning that we should be traveling lower within it, because we're trying to correlate again this move right here. And let's get rid of that. Right, so we're trying to include this move into this move. Okay, so that's all we're trying to do. We're not looking for the 1-to-1 necessarily at all. But anytime you're trading a Gartley, and you guys probably know this, especially if you're in other groups and you've traded these before, but even there, I've noticed that the education does not fall short, but it is kind of like it's limited, right? So in reality, how you should be trading this, if you're just trading harmonics per se, is you want to be looking at the B leg, right? You want to be looking at where we're settling up on the daily time frame. Okay, right here. So this is your zone. You've got a fairly wide zone. You were actually able to really narrow this zone down because there were single prints that were coming in. So you were able to narrow this down to almost half of what it is, into a small bracket right here, knowing that you would hit at least that, get this local low. From there, once lost, range acceptance is found. You can now target the 618 of the C to D or A to D leg. A to D is preferred because it's the overall low to the completion pattern, right? From there, you should be looking for some form of reversal, which we've seen. If you are able to push past this, you are looking at this in a trend-based standpoint because you are now trending to the downside. You are now looking for the 618, which is at 36,314. If you recall, 36,270 was the weekly level I was after. I assume you guys can see my screen.
Yep.
Okay. I'm watching it on a separate screen, and I didn't see it, so that's why I'm asking. 36,270 would be coming in at the golden pocket of that trend. All right. If you were to extend that down to a 1-to-1, then you are now looking down here to like 28,963, which brings you just below the local low almost. that is where the real value is. Where does the gap fill happen? Actually, at the 1272. If I recall, the gap fill somewhere around like $24,000 even. That is your next target after that. But that is how you would trade that pattern. So you've already come into the completion zone of this. And so for me, this is one of those areas where, you're not necessarily looking to get to those levels unless certain conditions are met, meaning that this is a long, you've seen a rejection. Obviously this was a level we were interested in. It makes sense from a structural standpoint. Now we need to see if the volume stacks up. We need to see longs coming in, stepping in. Even if longs don't step in, this kind of happened on the move up, where people were like, well, there's no real interest here. But you're not also seeing anything that's telling you to short. You don't just short because OI is down or whatever it may be. You're like, oh, well, these are just longs closing out. I heard that a couple times in chat. That isn't equal a short, though, all the time. It just means, hey, maybe a value goes because eventually the demand does show up. And I think Max even had mentioned that one time. And then the demand did show up, right? So same concept here. Structure is king. Price action will always be king. Whether you're looking at order flow or anything else, price action is king, what price is doing. And so even if we're not seeing the longs to show up just yet, we've come into a macro area at a really high time frame level, that 39.722 24-month pivot. That is a massive level you have to be aware of. You lose this level and we probably have problems. We're probably coming back down to the low of the range, and even if you were super bearish down here, you can't sell. What you can do though is you can make a plan that if you came down here, took these lows and then reclaimed the level, that's obviously a strength move, and that you're probably going to come back to the range highs, which is all the way up around 41 750, 41.5, what do you want to put it at? I would probably err more on the side of caution, closer to 42 at that point. But that's really looking further ahead than we need to. We need to see what price does from here. Price comes back to the low, we have to gauge the low. Price begins to continue to move up, even if it's on weak volume, there's no interest, so to speak. It doesn't really give you an actual short. There's nothing in the footprint actually telling you short. We don't have those imbalances yet. We don't have anything that's just saying, hey, let's push this down. Because sometimes price will just float and then all of a sudden the demand shows up. And we saw that happen here on the way up. Now, did it result in a really nice short eventually? Absolutely. But that was only to the people that were patient, right? So while we have a massive pattern like this, we can take this with a grain of salt, saying, okay, invalidations are, if we lose this 38K level, then yeah, absolutely, this is bearish, and we need to look down to the trend-based level, which was coming in at 36,270. Again, this was the level that I was talking to Max about, and I'll point it out on my chart since when I was talking to Max, I think it got lost in the wayside a little bit, but it is a level we've been on about for months. There we go. I've been adding things to this chart too much, so there we go. Right here, you can see that we've tested this demand multiple times, right? And this is your Russia gets or invades Ukraine, and we don't come back to it.
Swing failure pattern, is it?
That's so if we come back down below that $38,000 level, obviously 37.7 is there. Don't get me wrong. But if we flip 38,000 or even flip this on a daily basis, 39,722 on a daily basis, you can see how important this level is macro-wise, right? So you can see right here, if you're below this level, it's not good. You are probably looking back down to your last real demand zone, which is going to be this swing failure pattern. Also happens to line up with the golden pocket of the Gartley in terms of a trend-based extension, right? So we've already hit target 1, which was coming in right in this region, which we were able to narrow down thanks to order flow and single prints. We were able to narrow down to where we were actually going with that. It was really nice. After that, where are we going? Golden pocket. If we lose that level, we go to the trend-based golden pocket, right? So if you're looking for downside, that's how you're managing the position. You have to keep your head on straight, and there's your 618. You lose this level here, and you can see why it's such a bad time. There's really nothing below you at this point. You lose this daily swing failure pattern at 36,270, and yeah, you are looking down into the 1-to-1 more than likely. And I'm just looking at these lows going, okay, if we flip 29,800, in my opinion, like this last local swing failure pattern of the range, right before your 1-1. Like when I say flip it, closing beneath it, this is resistance. We see sells coming in just like we did today on the New York VWAP, things like that. Yeah, you've got some problems, and you can start targeting this 1272, and that's a gap close at that point. But those are things that you do. You have to stair step, and if you're an active trader, that's what you have to be able to do. The people that say like, well, I just know it's going that low because it's going that low, like they don't know shit. Let's be very real. All the people that said that we know Bitcoin is going to 3K because there's a gap down here, right? There was a gap down here that was left over that we never filled. Okay, so this was a front run, and there was a very nice naked point of control in this region. I'll show it to you guys. Anyone that's still on this stream would be amazing if they are.
It's a good amount, man. Still got like 50 people on TikTok watching it on like the most smallest thumbnail size. I don't even know, but
yeah, but you can see you filled an NPOC here, right? You not only did that, you had a 1-to-1 here, and the 1-to-1 does come in from your 14K high, which again, we're now looking at a trend-based target because we're looking for trend, right? So we're looking at the trend of the overall move. It came down to the 886 just beneath. You guys know I always mark off the 886 for my 1-to-1s because it's kind of a front run. But you did. You came into that. You came into the NPOC. The actual gap was down here at 3K, and we never filled it. And everyone that was waiting to get their fills here were left in the dark. And, dude, I kid you not, because I was trading at this time. I was I was doing calls for Newton and Market Experts. Like, I was literally his call guy. All I was signed up to do was signals. And I didn't have to do any education, which I will tell you right now does not work. All I said was, you guys have to buy here. You can't sell. Could we come back to the gap? Absolutely, but it's not guaranteed. You know how many people waited for this fucking gap? It never came. Never came.
Shill Billy, in answer to your question about is AI stealing identity and just as God scalps crypto for capital, there is definitely, do you know what, you always hear the phrase that, the exchanges are trading against you. Because there's some exchanges, I can't remember which one it was, but there's a story, and I don't know if it's just a wives' tale or a rumor. I like to believe that it's true that, one exchange in particular, I don't know which one it is, they gave certain traders what they called God mode trading, and it allowed them to see exactly where people were placing, all that, where they entered, where they're going to exit. It literally gave them liquidity, like a book map, but the book map, it wasn't just the book map, because there's so many people try and trade the book map. It's very easy to be manipulated. I can't remember what it was, but it literally allowed them to seek liquidity with ease, and they literally called it God mode trading, and it's so illegal that it's not allowed, because the exchange was literally providing this data to a set number of their traders to market make and get the liquidity from the average trader. But I do think there's certainly something that goes on with exchanges. They're all trading against you, but the footprint chart, really, this stuff is the only way to really spot what's going on and to trade against it. That's why I love it so much, because
I've been trying to explain this to people, and I'm only bringing this up. Like you mentioned a little bit of like bids here earlier too, but people that are looking at bids, they don't realize those can be pulled. Yeah. I watch people constantly put up content. Well, there was a gal, her name's Trade Travel Chill, good channel, okay channel, and I gave her some feedback because she said that the bids were coming in at 39.1, and we both know that we were going to 38.5 or lower. I just told her, I was like, honestly, bids like that don't mean shit.
Well, do you remember that guy that when we joined the Faceless group, and he was like, "Oh yeah, 100x trade the order book," and we were just both knew instantly he was chatting absolute rubbish, because these are the limit orders that you see. Do you know when you're trading on your exchange and you see the order book and it says all these trades are here, all these positions are here. This is them here. Look at them bounce about. It says here there's a lot of support at the VWAP. But they're guaranteed if we started to head towards the VWAP, they would get pulled. The only way to really see, what trades are coming in is this. This is actual market orders that have, taken place. This is 600,000 market buys here, 200,000 market buys here. You actually had $1 of buys there, 200K of sells there. So, Sheik, I know that you asked this in the members area on our Discord, what the numbers are. I don't know whether Rivalry answered to them, but these on the right are, do you know when you mark it into a position, when instead of putting a limit order in the book, you take the price for what it is. These are the market buys on the right. On the left-hand side, you have the market sells. This is real data. It's not manipulated. This is what's actually happening. So when you can see stuff like this, and you can see, okay, the exact volume in the candles. If you're looking at TradingView for the volume, I can actually, if I come over here, because I'm looking at the different screen, if I pop, this is what you're looking at when you're seeing the volume in TradingView, these little boxes at the bottom. But here we can actually see the exact figure for, the volume. Yeah, you can see that it's dropped off here, but you can just see how much it's dropped off here. And then you can also view how many people are market buying or market selling in the particular candles, whether that's actually people opening positions or closing positions. This is God mode trading to me. Like, I don't understand how people can't trade I can't trade without this stuff. It's crazy. I really can't. I love it too much. This is when I found the footprint chart and order flow. This is when trading just kind of like clicked for me. This is like, okay, this is what I need to learn. I know, Magic, you don't trade with it all the time, but you're just an absolute mental trader. Like, it's crazy watching you trade. But this stuff for me is like the clear cut. This is for me what I need to learn. So XRP Shillbilly, the software is actually, I believe it's $30 a month. And for the next month, there's actually a sale on for the next 2 days in our group, Leading Crypto. There's a 50% sale on, so it's $30 for the next 2 days for a month. Your first month for $30. And we have videos on how to trade this. So if you to $60 in total, you can get Leading Crypto for a month and Exo Charts for a month. There you go.
Beautiful. Well, we've been taking up everybody's time long enough, I think. Always a great stream, gentlemen. Hope everybody had a good time. I know we did. We will have these public updates every Thursday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, right after the Debate Crypto show. For anybody that's in the group, obviously we'll continue on updating in there all day, every day. For anybody that's interested in joining, once again, this is we have the Leading Crypto Discord server. You can find the information in the description on YouTube or on TikTok there. We do have for the next 2 days, we're offering 1 month half off. Just want to give it a try, no commitment. And we do members only market updates every Wednesday and Sunday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. So pretty much do a deep dive, a little bit more, less just hanging out, more in depth on the charts there. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed. Hope to see you again. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you liked or hated us. And until next time, everybody, cheers.
Those are scripts, by the way, XRP Shillbilly. They are scripts that were built, so they're all provided, though. Sorry, I was just answering the question at the end there. We're good to go.
I liked it.
Yeah.
All right, guys.